My name is Harry. I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Okay, today is January 4th, 2022. It is 3 a.m. I was finishing some touch up on my last video that I was editing before I start recording because I wanted to start render on my laptop so I could do the recording. This is my very first recording for 2022. All throughout the holiday, I did some recording. They were piling up. They were too much. So I didn't do any recording until I finished edit all of them. So I literally just finished one of them. So now I'm doing my first recording. So I hope this year is much better than last year, and I hope everybody take COVID very seriously and stay healthy and all of that. So this video is gonna be on IPO Team Sussex. The reason is that because yesterday I went on Twitter checking to see what's going on, and what's going on is that in the US they had released the agreement that Virginia Giuffre had with Epstein. So there were a lot of little discussion going on Twitter. So my main focus was I wanted to see what the document said. And then later on, if I have time, because I have to give my computer up today, I'll go through some tweets that relate to that. But I haven't really recorded anything for PYTE yet. So with that being, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. My subs went up. So 1,622 subscribers on PYTE channel. Let's see what's going on my other one, IPO Team Sussex, which this video is gonna be in. All right, so it's going up as well. So that was the last video, I believe that was that went live. Yeah, that's the last one. But anyway, let's go on Twitter and see what's going on. So this person I don't follow, but when I look for the hashtag for I don't know what hashtag that I put to find the document. I think I put the Virginia Epstein document, something like that. And it took me a while to find this, and this is it. All right. Only 2 people likes it. So which means this person, who is he? Okay, he only has 136 followers. So I'm not sure who he is, but I find it, so I'm going to share it with you. All right, so this is what he said on his tweet. Just end. Epstein paid Prince Andrew accuser $500,000 in 2009, according to the just unsealed settlement agreement. So guess what? Now, and actually he hashtag somebody, not hashtag, he tagged somebody. Let's see, observing world event unfold in the grand theater of our time. Okay, I don't know who these people are. All right, I don't follow them. They're not Sussexes or anything like that. But I wanted the document. I wanted to see it that way. I understand what's there. So when people are throwing noise, when there's noise going on, at least I understand what the document said. This is why I wanted to go straight to the document. All right, so there it is. Okay, so I'm hoping it's correct. And by the way, I need to put a disclaimer here. The disclaimer is I am by any shape or form in the legal business, never studied law. I only took a 101 class on some law thing that I was supposed to take in my class for my degree. So it was a elective. All right. So anything that I say in this is my opinion. All right. That's it. You could disagree with me. I could understand that. But do not take anything that I say as a legal advice. Because by any shape or form, I am not qualify. Okay, I'm not qualified to give any advice. This is my opinion. All right, so the thing say, the document say, in Prince Andrew case, Unsealed, Epstein, Godfrey, others shows $500,000 and purported protection, settlement, and release here. All right, so Exhibit A. All right, let's see here. Settlement agreement and general release. Virginia Godfrey, FKA, okay, Virginia Roberts, individual, and Jeffrey Epstein, individually, jointly referred to as parties, enter into this settlement agreement and general release settlement agreement in order to resolve the pending litigation between them as follows. 1. Dismissal. The parties agree to immediately dismiss the pending lawsuit presently styled Jane Doe number 102 versus Jeffrey Epstein. Oh my goodness, 102. So there's more people who's involved in this. Young girls. Okay, so Virginia is Jane Doe number 2, usually in the US. Okay, my understanding, humble opinion, I believe, when there is someone that either don't want to mention their name or whatever, if it's a woman, they say Jane Doe and then whatever number this person is. If it's a guy, okay, they say John Doe. All right, John Doe, meaning the person they don't want to give the real name, or if they have not identified the person, that's how they call them in the US. Okay, my understanding, you guys could check further. All right, so let's continue. Presently styled Jane Doe number 102 versus Jeffrey Epstein. Case number, there it is here. Okay, and Southern District, Florida. With prejudice upon payment and clearance of the settlement amount, however, the court will be asked to retain jurisdictions to enforce the term of this settlement agreement. The court will be asked to retain jurisdiction. What does that mean, to retain? To enforce the terms of this settlement agreement. So this thing took place in Florida. So they want to keep it Florida case. So in other words, if Virginia wants to sue someone involved in that, this is my humble opinion, okay? So she cannot sue in the state of Florida. So this is, in my humble opinion, only apply to Florida. Humble opinion. Anybody who's into that, into the legal thing, can interpret this. This is what I believe this is. This means. 2. General release. Virginia Robert and her agents, attorneys, predecessors, successors, heirs, administrators, and or assigns here and after, quote, first parties. So they mention anybody that relates to her. Okay? The heirs, so if she has kids or anything like that. All right, so this is what it means. Oh my goodness, they're covering all their bases. That's what I'm saying here. So this doesn't come up again by anybody who's related to her. All right, that's my understanding of this. 4, and consideration of the sum of $500,000. Wow, they're only giving her that much, and these people have so much money. Why did she agree? Well, I'm not her. All right, so let me just move on. And other valuable consideration received from or on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein and his agents, attorneys, predecessors, successors, heirs, administrators, assigns, and or employees here and after. Second parties, the receipt whereof is hereby acknowledged. Okay. Hereby release, acquit, satisfy, and forever discharge the said second parties and any other person or entity who could have been included as a potential defendant. My goodness. Yeah, they don't want anybody. That's what it... so that's why Andrew is saying... is saying all of this stuff. He's not... all this nonsense he's throwing out there. So they trying, so he knew what was in the document. He knew. Andrew knew what was in the document. He knew what was in the document, because what I'm seeing here, they're covering all of their bases for nothing to be brought up again. That's what it is. Okay, other potential defendant from all and all manner of action and actions. Virginia Robert includes state or federal cause, oh my goodness, and causes of action, common law or statutory, suit, debt, dues, sum of money, accounts, reckoning, bonds, bills. Oh, these people, they're covering their bases all over. All right, bills, specialties, covenant, contracts, controversies, yep, agreement, promises, variances, trespasses, damages, judgment, execution claims, and demands whatsoever, and law or and equity for compensation or punitive damages that said first parties ever had or now have. Yep, they cover all their bases. That's why he was saying all of this. He never met her. He this, is that. So he knew what was in the document. So he thought he was scot-free. That's why. Because in this here, page 2 going into page 3 covers all of their bases. So nothing can be brought back up. That's what it is. Okay? Or that any personal representative, successor, heir, or assign of said first party hereafter can shall or may have against Jeffrey Epstein or other potential defendants for but oh my God, I'm looking at this. I don't think back then in 2009 Virginia had a good attorney. I don't think this person was really looking out for her that much. If you look at the sum that they gave her, $500,000, and then to include all of this, that person was not in her best interest. I wonder who was her attorney in Florida to help her with this. Because not only the amount is so small, and all of the things they blocked around it for her not to bring it up again. So pretty much they cover all of their bases. But let's continue. All right. All other potential defendant. There it is. This is where Andrew come in here. So which means any defendant cannot come. All right. Because now Andrew is going to defend himself. All right. But I have an idea why he's involved. Why she brought that case. And by the way, if you haven't seen the lawsuit that Virginia, whatever, how do you call it? The document of her lawsuit for Prince Andrew. I have it in one of my videos. The same way I'm reading this, it's in one of those videos. So you could go and watch it. And if you don't want to listen to me, I believe I put the link in the description of that video. Okay, you could go and read it yourself. And I'm going to do the same thing with this video. I'm going to put the link. All right, so let me continue. All other potential defendant for, upon, or by reason of any matter, cause, or thing whatsoever, whether known or unknown. Wow. How are you supposed to know? Oh my God. Yep. They cover their bases all around. So Andrew knew what was in the document. Okay. From the beginning of the word to the day of this release. This is it. Yeah, they covered all their bases. The issue of amount of attorney fees and costs is specifically addressed in paragraph 8, attorney's fees and costs. So in other words, they pay her and they pay her attorney fees. And then they got scot-free. I wonder how much, okay, I'll see how much they pay the attorney. Because $500,000 for the pain and suffering they put her through, she didn't, that amount is too little. It's too little. And then the amount of money these people have, okay, it is further agreed that this settlement agreement represents a final resolution of dispute claim and is intended to avoid litigation. Yep, Prince Andrew knew what was in this document. So in other words, this document is final. Nothing whatsoever can be brought up in court regarding anything that has to do with Epstein or anyone related to Epstein. That's what it is. Okay? This settlement agreement shall not be construed to be an admission of liability or fault by any party. Yep, they cover Prince Andrew. Additionally, as a material consideration and settlement, first parties and second parties agreed that the terms of this settlement agreement are not intended to be used by any other person nor be admissible in any proceeding or case against or involve Jeffrey Epstein, either civil or criminal. All right. So they're saying here, anybody with all of those people they list with Virginia or her heir or anyone, whatever, the whole, I don't want to move this page so I don't lose where I am. All the people they could say who bring that relates to Virginia to bring this to court, this is where is that. So this cannot be brought up to court whatsoever. Okay, first and second parties, which is Virginia and whatever Epstein, okay, further stipulate and agree that this settlement agreement is pursuant to and is fulfillment of Jeffrey Epstein obligations to Virginia Giuffre. Okay, so this is between Epstein and Virginia Giuffre. Okay, exclusive of attorney's fee and costs pursuant to and conformity with the non-prosecution agreement, its addendum, and its affirmation collectively, the NPA, between Jeffrey Epstein and the United States Attorney for the Southern District, Florida. All right, so yeah, I think I was correct when they said something jurisdiction. So this is, I think, only involving Florida. Okay, and this is why it's taking place in another state, which is New York. Okay, first and second parties further stipulate and agree that this settlement agreement should not in any way be construed as an admission by Jeffrey Epstein that he violates any federal statute that constitutes a predicate for a damage claim under whatever the U.S. law that is here. An admission that he violates any other federal or state statute. Okay, I'm telling you, they cover themselves very well. Okay, 3, payment. Payment of the settlement fund has been made to Virginia Roberts' attorney's trust account, but may not be released until this agreement has been executed and the case is dismissed with prejudice. So in other words, they're not gonna release the attorney's fees and all of that until, this is, anyway, it speaks for itself. Okay, 4, reciprocal confidentiality. The parties agree that the amount of this settlement shall be kept strictly confidential and shall not be disclosed at any time to any third party except immediate family members of the parties. So these are the people who cannot come and claim, sue, or anything like that. So what they did here, they went to court. All right, this is why this is released, because they mentioned it here. This was supposed to stay confidential. All right, so they went to court and then they asked to release it. And then there it is. This is why they didn't want anything to be released. All right, so they follow the law. All right, the only way for this to be released if it's a judge wanted to be released, and this is why I'm seeing it right now and be able to share it with you. And then this is why Andrew was all up and saying, oh, they should not release this. This should be remain private and all of that. All right, so this is why. Okay, immediate family members of the parties whose identities must be provided as eyes only. Okay, so you could only see it, but the public cannot see it. But the judge, scratched this part out. Okay, to Sidney Stubb, Esquire, special master or his designee, and a sealed envelope to be opened only if a third party is alleged to have breached this provision. B, to the extent required by law or rule. This is where how will I say, it apply. Okay, so this can only be opened to the extent required by law or rule. So they went to the judge, and this is where this document apply, why it was released. Okay, C, to the extent necessary in connection with medical treatment, legal, financial, accounting, or tax services, or appropriate tax reporting purposes, only if necessary. So in other words, because she received $500,000, I don't know if they have to pay tax on this. Somebody needs to, I'm not in the legal business for me to know this when you receive this type of money to settlement if you have to pay tax on it. So this is why this can be released for tax purposes. Okay, D, in the event that all or part of the proceeds of this settlement are to be placed in trust for Virginia Guthrie to the trustee of such trust or in response to a validly issued subpoena from a governmental or regulatory agency. Any third party who is advised of the settlement amount must sign a document acknowledging that such third party is aware of this confidentiality provision and is bound by it, including the provision contained in the settlement agreement related to the enforcement of this confidentiality provision. In other words, this part here, it seems like it applies to, any, let's say, Virginia's kids or anyone who's related to Virginia decided to bring this back to court or anything, they have to know what is agreed here. All right? So they don't come and create a different branch of lawsuit. I think that's what it is here, my humble opinion. All right? The parties further agreed that the parties shall not provide any copy in whole or in part or in any form of this settlement agreement to any third party except to the extent required by law. Again, this is why we are seeing it. So the law said release it so everybody gets to see it. Okay? Or rule or in response to a validly issued subpoena from a government or regulatory agency. Moreover, neither this settlement agreement nor any copy hereof nor the terms hereof shall be used or disclosed in any court, arbitration, or other legal proceedings, except to enforce the provision of this settlement. So once, how do you call this? This is brought to court. Virginia's lawyer is going to have to explain this part here, because this was saying, was it? Moreover, neither this settlement agreement nor any copy hereof nor the term hereof shall be used or disclosed in any court arbitration. So they cannot use this, okay, this document for any proceeding or anything like that, because she agreed to the amount that they give her and things like that. So they cannot use that. So in other words, if this is brought to court, even though Andrew is not part of this, his name is not involved here, but he was betting on this document to protect him. Okay, because they put at the beginning known and unknown, anybody who's related to Epstein and all of that. So, I mean, it's so broad that, let's say, for instance, for some reason, I know Epstein or something like that. And someone claimed that because I know him, they're going to sue me for whatever it may be. I don't know. But they're saying someone like me who have no connection with, who don't know the person who's going to sue, they cannot sue. All right? So the thing is very broad because there's so many clients with Epstein, so they try to protect those clients under that. I mean, my example is shoddy, but I could explain it any better. But this sort of covered their bases all over. But then again, it only applies in Florida. Okay, if any of the parties are served with a valid subpoena, court order, government agency, other or subpoena or other compulsory legal process pursuant to which disclose of this settlement agreement, the settlement amount or other terms hereof is requested or production of the settlement agreement is requested, the party so served shall give counsel for the other party notice thereof within 5 days of such service and prior to making any such disclosure shall give counsel to such other party at least 10 days to commence necessary proceeding to obtain court order preventing, limiting, or otherwise restricting such disclosure. I mean, it's just that if you're going to do something, let us know before so we could prepare. This kind of thing. In plain and simple way. All right, anonymity. Second part is, as I was reading this, you know what I was thinking also? Because I think after there was something that happened in Florida. And, pretty much Epstein get scot-free For some reason, I don't know what happened. I may get my story is not completely straight, but there was something where they Epstein got some sort of a position, and how do you call this? In government or something like that. All right. So I was thinking about this as I was reading this paragraph. All right. Paragraph 5. Anonymity. Second parties shall not release Virginia Roberts' identity, okay, name or physical description or other identity Virginia Roberts, absent Virginia Roberts expressed within waiver of her right to anonymity. Outside of ongoing or future litigation, all right, this is where they cover themselves for the future. All right, and this is what Andrew was betting on. Outside of ongoing or future litigation related or claim related matter, first party acknowledge that second parties have no control over what other plaintiff attorneys, witnesses, attorneys, or witnesses may do or disclose in other cases regarding deposition and discovery. This is why they then called Virginia to testify in Maxwell case. Yep, this is why they didn't call her, because of this here. Because they cannot call her. She can't be part of any litigation that relates to Epstein. So that's why. Now I see. I have other videos related to Maxwell's case. All right. And I believe in one of those videos, could be the last video that relates to when she lost, they find her guilty. And what is it? There was a part where Virginia Goffrey was in the court, but she didn't testify. So this is why this paragraph here explains this is why they didn't call her. They probably did call her, but Virginia probably said because of this agreement, she cannot come in this close to testify. All right. So second parties may be required to subpoena and depose Virginia Roberts and call her at trials, except as provided in this settlement agreement, nothing shall prohibit second parties from conducting Jeffrey Epstein's defense, investigation, and trials as his lawyers deem appropriate. Yep, that's exactly that. They cannot call her. She cannot come and testify. That's why she wasn't there. Okay, Robert Joseph Berg and Catherine Ezel are hereby deemed to have full authority to accept a subpoena from second parties on Virginia Roberts' behalf. So I guess these were the people who represent her, so that second parties are not in violation of the terms of paragraph 6, no contact. Okay, no contact, that's 6. Jeffrey Epstein agreed to continue to abide by Judge Mara's July 31st, 2009, no contact order. Okay, is it number? Number contact order or any modification of same by the court, so long as first parties are giving notice of any such modification and opportunity to address this matter before the court. Okay. So in other words, this is the judge who oversaw this. Okay, let me move on. Okay, this settlement agreement shall be governed by the law of the state of Florida. She cannot sue in Florida. Okay, in the event litigation arising out of dispute over the interpretation of this settlement agreement, the prevailing party shall be entitled to recover its cost of litigation, including attorney's fees and other reasonable costs of litigation. So if this is brought up to court, so Virginia needs to pay everything back, including the attorney's fees and her own, the $500,000. That's what this is saying here. Okay, should the federal court not retain jurisdiction, okay, but she's in New York though, the parties and any third party agree that the courts of the 5th Judicial Circuit of Palm Beach County shall have exclusive jurisdiction over subject matter and shall have personal jurisdiction over the parties and third parties. Yep, it's only applying in Florida, not in New York. Okay, I'm already 30 minutes. Okay, in the event of an enforcement matter, the first party and any third-party family members agree that Robert Josberg or Catherine Iso is authorized to accept service for them. Wow. So these people, if any heirs of Virginia Guthrie, whatever, bring something to court, so these are the people who's supposed to represent them. Wow, they must be part of that, right? I mean, in my humble opinion, why can't they choose their own lawyer? This is why I'm saying, why $500,000? This is very little. So who are these people? Okay, who are these people? That's what that means here. Anybody who's gonna bring this back to court, these are the only people who could represent them. Wow, that is a very shackle here of this agreement. No wonder why, what's this guy? Andrew was saying, he's protected under this. Okay, and Robert D. Christian Jr. is authorized to accept service for Jeffrey Epstein. So these are the people. They're probably all related, all of the attorneys here. But what happened if they're all dead? My goodness. First and second parties expressly acknowledge and agree that if either first or second parties allege that a breach of the confidentiality provision has occurred, or if first parties allege that the breach of anonymity or no contact provision has occurred, the aggrieved first or second parties may seek an appropriate remedy with the court. But Jeffrey's dead. All right? Jeffrey's dead. So this one is gone. Okay? If the court finds a breach of the confidentiality, anonymity, or no contact provision set forth above, the court shall determine the amount of the award. Equitable remedies are not relinquished by virtue of this provision, nor does either party relinquish the right to pursue any other legal or equitable damages to which he or she may be entitled as a result of other parties' breach, including but not limited to prevailing party costs, to include attorney's fees. As I'm reading this, I'm thinking of, what's that, Alan Weissenberg, who BBC brought to talk about the Epstein thing. He probably was, in my humble opinion, wrote this. This is why, I mean, he's part of all this mess, but BBC brought him to talk about the case. But he probably wrote that to explain it. And BBC sent, put a, how do you call this? Some stuff, what is it, that they should have looked deeper into Alan Weissenberg background, because he's involved in this. He should not be the right person. I mean, the damage have already been done. But he probably was the one who wrote that. I wonder what he said in the BBC thing. I only saw the apology of BBC on Twitter, but I didn't see the full context, the video, or anything of what Alan Weissenberg said. So there's a possibility he was the one who wrote this. Okay. 8. Attorney's fees and costs. This settlement does not include any amount for attorney's fees or costs. The party and their attorneys have agreed to resolve the amount of attorney's fees and costs through a special masters whom they have mutually selected. Sydney Stubbs, Esquire, Virginia Roberts, agreed that any claims by her attorneys for attorney's fees or costs is solely through her attorney and the special master's proceeding. Yeah, I think they really corner Virginia. Whoever that attorney was for Virginia, I'm very suspicious about that person. Very questionable. All right. 9. Miscellaneous. A. The parties further confirm and acknowledge that this settlement agree is being entered into without any duress or undue influence, and that they have had a full and complete opportunity to disclose the term of the settlement agreement with their own attorney. All right, so they're saying, like, you understand what pretty much what this document means. Okay. B. Virginia's Robert agrees that it is her obligation to pay any outstanding bills relating to this matter from all healthcare providers. Wow. So let's say, for instance, Virginia were to get AIDS, okay, from all of the stuff they abuse her of. So in other words, they're not responsible for that. My goodness. That's just one simple thing here. Let's say she got hurt. Mental, okay? Another one. Mental health. Okay? The abuse that they put her through. They're not responsible for that. That's what that means here. Okay? So Virginia is responsible for that herself. Wow. And then they only give her $500,000. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, let's start all over. Virginia Roberts agreed that it is her obligation to pay any outstanding bills relating to this matter from all healthcare providers, satisfy any healthcare provider obligations arising out of the injuries underlying her claim. Yep. So any problem she had, yeah, she didn't have a good lawyer. That reminds me of Britney Spears, who the lawyer she had for 13 years, who didn't really look out for her. I don't think this attorney was looking out for her, because when you look at mental health, the abuse that they put her through, no amount of money will settle this. She should be getting money every year to go to a psychologist. Okay? So $500,000 on the spot and said and done, and then she probably had to pay, how do you call it? She probably had to pay tax on it. It's not enough for the amount of abuse she went through. Okay? And hold second parties harmless from same. Okay? And hold second parties harmless from same. All right? So that she cannot sue anybody regarding that. My goodness. This provision does not include healthcare evaluation. Okay? This is this. Okay? If any, which are costs that have been paid for by her attorney, these costs will be subject to reimbursed by the second parties. So in other words, if they claim her she's crazy or something like that, so they could, I don't know, if they want to test her to see if she's some mental thing or whatever, if the other party claims she that and this, so they could pay for that to claim if she's crazy or something. Because these people have people all over. They could put her to some, make her go to a special doctor, and then that doctor is part of the other party, and then after they finish evaluate her, all right, the doctor can say, yeah, whatever the other parties want the doctor to say. All right, so she cannot pick her own doctor. Oh my God, this is evil. This is pure evil. All right. These costs will be subject to reimbursed by the second parties to the extent that they are for evaluation and not treatment. Yeah. If they want to see if she's crazy or this and that, or, so they pretty much have control over her. All right. Let's say something popped up. Oh, she's crazy this, she's crazy that. All right. So, well, Jeffrey is dead now. So not this part is obsolete now because this agreement is between her and Epstein. All right, so this part is it's no longer valid because Epstein is dead. Okay, and then guess what? Any other parties who claim who want her to be evaluated, they're gonna have to say what was their connection with Epstein. So everybody's gonna be shut their mouth now. All right, so this is why I think this part is done. Okay, dead and done because Epstein is dead. So let's say if Epstein was alive, and then Virginia is calling Andrew to court. Epstein could call a doctor and say evaluate her and this and that, and then at the end of the evaluation, let's say if the doctor is Epstein's friend and Epstein say, hey, put her she's crazy, or put her she's whatever on the thing, and then that would be going to court and say, oh, she's crazy, we can't take her serious or something like that. All right, but what happened here? Andrew cannot request for that. Why? Because his name is not on document. Plus, he claimed he never met her. So he eliminate himself on this part here. This is how I'm evaluating this sentence here. All right, let's continue. If the parties do not agree as to whether these costs are for evaluation and not treatment, and or do not agree as to the reasonableness of the amount claimed, then the special masters will make those determination. So it's like an arbitrator or something like that. The third person, whatever, could determine that. Whatever. Let's move on. This settlement agreement was negotiated and entered into by the parties with the advice and assistance of respected counsel. In other words, both Epstein lawyers and Virginia's lawyers were there. All right, so they had people to explain this to them. All right, this settlement agreement may be executed by the parties and counterparts on separate signature pages. The parties and their counsel will cooperate to execute the necessary paperwork and court filing to carry out the terms of this settlement agreement. The remainder of this page is intentionally left blank. All right, so this is where they sign and things like that. So that's it. All right, for Virginia Robert, all right, and Jeffrey Epstein. So this is that. These are the two parties there. All right, so this can only take place in Florida jurisdiction and stuff like that. Not in New York. This doesn't apply in New York. And what is it? And one of those before, by the way, today is January 4th. This document was released January 3rd. Prior to January 3rd, how come? I mean, I'm telling you, Andrew, as more he speak, it's like he's putting himself into more problem. Because in one of those videos that I did several days ago, he's saying that the private investigator find that he wasn't really living in Florida. He was somewhere in another state and all of that. How do they know all of this? All right. So, but anyway, this is that. Okay. The court released everything. Whatever I'm showing you, it was released to the public. All right. So I'll put the link in the description. What I'm going to do here, so I'm 42 minutes. Let's aim for 1 hour. Okay. I'm going to go to Twitter, and there's a lot of tweets relating to that I bookmarked. So this is one of those. All right. There's Peter Hunt. Remember, I read everything. This is why I put the at the beginning. And other people who probably saw the document, putting little bits and pieces. I wanted to see everything. So I searched, I find it, and this is why I put it first at the beginning of the video. But I saw this one first before the whole document. All right, so this is Peter Hunt. Prince Andrew believed this once secret document, the 2009 Epstein Virginia Roberts settlement, with its reference to other potential defendants, means her civil action for damages should be thrown out. Her lawyers have insisted it can be used as a get out of jail card. All right, so this here, there was some part here I think I saw. Okay, general release. Let's see, Virginia. That's the beginning here. Virginia Godfrey, Robert, okay, individual, and Jeffrey Epstein, okay, enter into this settlement as follow. All right, so anyway, I don't want to read all of this again. So this was the part that they Peter Hunt released, and that was it. And then I was curious to see the entire part. All right, let's see here. Okay, the trial has to go ahead with the evidence against Prince Andrew laid bare, so the judge can know whether he is a potential defendant. There's a laugh. Judge must throw out this motion to dismiss trial proceeds. All right, there's to comment here. These are some squad here. All right, no. As soon as someone files a lawsuit against you, you become de facto defendant. Yeah, but for some people who don't look too deep into all of this, you will not know how Prince Andrew get involved. I truly believe what happened here. I read it in one of my videos that relate to the lawsuit that Virginia filed. Okay, I saw the document, I read it, and I share it. It's in one of my videos. In the document, it says that Virginia's attorney have been trying to get in touch with Prince Andrew, but what he did, okay, he's dodging them. Okay, he's dodging them. He doesn't want meet with them and all of that. Instead, what he did is this interview here. Okay, there's 2 minutes and 7 seconds in it. He did this interview. Through that interview, he pretty much allowed for this trial, that whatever Virginia filed, to take place. Why? Because he said he never met her. That's the part that they're gonna use against him. Because what I just read here in the file, in the document, the release document of Jeffrey Epstein between Virginia, is that they say nobody who's related to Jeffrey Epstein, known or unknown, Virginia cannot sue them. But here he is there, and recorded video, I don't know, probably seen worldwide, probably now. He literally said he never met her. So I'm going to listen to this. I have to stop in between to see what he said here. Okay, so she said here, he never met her, but he is one of the potential defendants. The audacity to even mention this just showed that Prince Andrew has never taken any responsibility for his bad behavior. His mother enabled his bad behavior, but will cut Harry out in a heartbeat. All right, so let's listen to this. Remember, I just read the full document for you. All right, I explain, I interrupt in between here and there. All right, put my humble opinion, because if he had stuck with his narrative, I never met her, this and that, he could have get out of court of this thing. But he did that interview, and he spoke more and more and more and more, and then, bam, they got him on that. Just the part where he said he never met her. Just that part. Let's listen.
That we now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March. I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a...
Oh my God. I swear, I never really listened to the thing. I know it exists, but this is where he mentioned that Pizza Express. Okay, I'm sorry.
A Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then because the Duchess was away, we have a simple rule in the family that when one's away, the other one's there. I was on terminal leave at the time from the Royal Navy, so therefore I was at home.
Why would you remember that so specifically? Why would you remember a Pizza Express birthday and being at home?
Because
that's true. How will you remember that? Oh my God, that's a good one. I swear he should have listened to his advisors. Don't do the interview. Oh my God. How will you remember that specific thing? Pizza Express. Let's listen.
A Pizza Express birthday and being at home.
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do. A very unusual thing for me to do. I've only been to Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly distinctly, but as soon as somebody reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that. Oh. So I have no recollection of ever meeting or being in the company or the presence.
So you're absolutely sure that you're at home on the 10th of March?
Wait a second. When he said he had he didn't meet that person, is that the part where he never met her? Let's listen.
Or being in the company or the presence. So I have no recollection of ever meeting or being in the company or the presence.
So you're absolutely sure that you're at home on the 10th of March? Yeah. She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have possibly...
There's a slight problem with the sweating.
So that's Virginia, I'm assuming, because I'm hearing he or she, referring to that person as she. So I'm assuming that she is Virginia. All right, so let's listen. So that's the sweating part here.
Because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was, yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I...
but then again, wait a second. What the F is this guy? He should just keep his mouth shut at that time. So you mean you were at that time with Virginia sweating? So he's saying here, at that time I wasn't sweating. So he pretty much untangled himself here. So how would you remember at that specific time? Oh my God, he should just let the interviewer speak. Don't interrupt her. Oh my goodness, let's listen here.
I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
At the time.
And that was, oh, actually, yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at. And I simply, it was almost impossible for me to sweat. And it's only because I have done a number of things in the recent past that I'm starting to be able to do that again. So I'm afraid to say that there's a medical condition that says that I didn't do it, so therefore.
Oh my God, what kind of nonsense is that? So let's listen to this part here. So at the time where Virginia Godfrey, I'm assuming, whoever that woman is accusing him of, I don't know, I'm assuming it's Virginia because I'm hearing she, okay? So Virginia specifically remembered that specific time with Andrew. So he's claiming he never met her, but yet that specific time he was not sweating. So you see what I'm saying? Let's see.
Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then because the Duchess was away, we have a simple rule in the family that when one's away, the other one's there. I was on terminal leave at the time from the Royal Navy, so therefore I was at home.
Why would you remember that so specifically? Why would you remember a Pizza Express birthday and being at home?
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do. A very unusual thing for me to do. I've only been to Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly distinctly. But as soon as somebody reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that. So I have no recollection of ever meeting or being in the company or the presence.
So you're absolutely sure?
There it is. I have no recollection of ever meeting her. This part, if they're referring to Virginia, this is the part that caused that lawsuit. Because that document said no defendant or related to Epstein or whatever can, is part of that, can be sued. And then there he is and said he doesn't remember of ever meeting her. So that just canceled himself out. And if he had kept that up, that would be his ticket of out. But he kept going. I mean, not only kept that up, yeah, I mean, if he said it, once he said it and stick to it, that would be something different. But he changed his stories as he go further. So he pretty much, that specific part cancel him out. Yeah, that's it. This is the part that caused the lawsuit. This one.
So I have no recollection of ever meeting or being in the company or the presence.
So you're absolutely sure that you're at home on the 10th of March?
Yeah.
That was the part that caused the lawsuit. That's it. This is it. What is it? In the U.S., they say something, anything you say can be used against you in the court of law. This is what's going to be used against him. That's it. And then that pretty much threw out that deal that they made with Virginia, Epstein and Virginia Godfrey. So that is thrown out. He canceled himself out right there. And then at the same time, he's saying he never met her. And then, but yet, that specific time, he remembered he wasn't sweating. What the F?
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you.
Okay? She was very specific. All right? Of that night. And there he's shaking his head, no. Okay?
And you profusely sweating. And that she went on to have possibly...
There's a slight problem with...
Okay? Specific that night. Virginia remember it specifically. All right? And said no. Andrew said no, never met her and all of that. But listen about his sweating problem. And then if you don't remember being there, how do you remember all of a sudden you weren't sweating?
With the sweating, because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
There it is.
And
there it is. I did not sweat at that time. Okay, you weren't there. You don't remember meeting her. How do you remember at that time you weren't sweating? You should have left this part out. Okay, at that time you were not sweating.
Medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
At the time.
And that was, oh, actually, Yes, I didn't sweat at the time
There it is
because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War
goodness.
when I was shot at, and I simply it was almost impossible for me to sweat, and it's only because I have done a number of things in the recent past that I'm starting to be able to do that again. So I'm afraid to say that there's a medical condition that says that I didn't do it, so therefore.
Yep, this part pretty much bring him into that lawsuit. That's what it is. Okay, let's read some comment. I wonder how many more children were raped because the entire family protected that monster. They are all responsible and should be held accountable. 32 people like it. Okay, the British media are not reporting that Buckingham Palace Prince William advisors intervened when an American. Did Prince Andrew's legal team attend any sort of law school? Okay, he either never met her. There it is. This is the part that really caused that lawsuit with Virginia. Okay, or her claim are true, and he is, as he appears to have self-identified, or okay, a potential defendant. Why is his pimp getting puff pieces in the British press? Okay, there's this. Who is Ghislaine Maxwell, the downfall of a favorite daughter? My goodness, a very attractive lady. And then this is what she put herself into, to do this type of behavior. But then again, I heard that her father was some sort of an agent and all of that. Maybe, who knows, she's probably part of that. And this is what she had to do. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Okay, I'm almost an hour. And there it is. They're taking pictures on the exact same spot. Yeah. Same spot to show people this is, that's where they were. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, all of this, Ghislaine and Epstein, they were working. All right. I think there's some sort of like whatever Ghislaine's father was, a special agent during those things. Because when you look at that video that I did where Rachel Maddow was explaining how the entrapment occurred, this is what they were doing. And when you look deeper into things, all those people that they're getting, special agent, that's all. Look at him, having fun and everything. All right, so now it's time to pay up. All these pictures that they're showing parties, and as they're doing the parties, they're taking pictures. Okay, that's documentation. Documentation of that to blackmail you. You can't say you weren't. Look at him having fun, but now he can't sweat. Let's see here. He's about to find out that this does not apply to him, and he is not above the law in America. Let's see here. It does apply if she is suing. She signed a settlement and entered into a contract. This is not a criminal case. What I just read, I could see why he was saying he's not part of this and that. But that video, all right, where he never met her. So if the document said anything related to Jeffrey Epstein, this, that, cannot be brought to court and all of that, and plus the jurisdiction was in Florida, so he just put himself right back in there. Okay, he's about to find out that, okay, I just read that. Let's see, for comment here, that statement and the contract is too vague to even be legal. Legal expert must be side-eyeing the judge who allowed it in the first place. I mean, people were screaming foul of the thing that went in Florida. And I'm also questioning Virginia's attorney in this agreement, because they cover the other party, Jeffrey Epstein, cover all of his bases. But they left her, if she needs to get medical help or anything, they're not responsible for that. I mean, I'm thinking, who the hell will see that as a good thing for their client? Okay, it's almost the same thing, well, not in a different form, but in terms of legal advisors, it's this almost the same thing as Britney Spears. They were not looking out for her for 13 years and all of the BS that was going on. And I'm like, where was her attorney? So this one, as I was reading it, I'm like, wait a second, who was her attorney to think this was okay for only $500,000? All right. They cover all of their bases. She can't brought any lawsuit with anybody, known or unknown. Who knows? There's a whole bunch. I don't know how many rounds she made with different people. All right. She can bring them to suit. She can a whole bunch of stuff. Her heirs and all of this, all of their bases were covered except for her. Even if she's sick, she cannot call and ask for more money for her health, whatever it may be. It could be mental health or some sort of a physical health in terms of, let's say, if she get AIDS or something like that through all of these men. That's what I was thinking when I read that part. All right, that statement of the contract is too vague. I mean, the thing is that as vague as it is, if she signed it, it is what it is. I mean, not after the fact, but during, while they were doing different back and forth, what they agree upon, this is where her lawyer should advocate for her. I don't think her lawyers were advocating for her. All right, legal expert must be side-eyeing the judge who allowed it in the first place. Did he have something to hide too? Doesn't make sense. I mean, for us, we could say that, but she signed it. The judge have nothing to say but to approve it. If she agree with whatever was said, both parties agreed. The judge cannot say, you cannot agree to this. You cannot agree. She just have to enforce it. Okay, like I said, okay, at the beginning of this video, I said I'm not an attorney to talk about this, but it is what it is. It's just that her attorney was not advocating for her. Okay, Prince Andrew and his lawyer should prove they fall under potential defendant category sample. All right, there is good thread from Daniel Bonnet, who says he is UK lawyer, does not know US laws, and he thinks UK laws will not protect Andrew from Virginia. But it depends. Whatever happened, if something happened in the UK, that would be different. But whatever Virginia is suing for is in New York. So I don't know. She could probably drag his butt everywhere that they took her. My goodness. Let's read that part. Okay. At Virginia Godfrey, this settlement agreement, it says, quote, additionally, as a material consideration and settling, Godfrey and Epstein agreed that the terms of this settlement agreement are not intended to be used by any other person. I think that was the part that I was seeing. All right, I read this already. It's probably in one of these. So they're highlighting this to let her know, look, you can't sue. All right, let me read it. Okay, first parties and second parties agree that the terms of this settlement agreement are not intended to be used by any other person nor be admissible in any proceeding or case against or involving Jeffrey Epstein, either civil or criminal. But guess what? But the guy said he never met her. Okay? He never met her. So I wonder who's this person who put that. Who is this person? Who is this person? Okay, if Megan Mahive, followed by Keep Calm, All Diagnosed, Sussex Squad, okay, 21 others that I follow. I don't follow this person, but they're saying that this one cannot be. I mean, she's not using that. All right. He said he never met her. So that's the thing here. In any proceeding or case against or involve, was it Jeffrey Epstein? But we shall see. Her lawyers must know something more than we do. Okay. Against Jeffrey Epstein, not other parties. Thank you. All right. That's it. This was between her and Jeffrey Epstein. That was it. Andrew's name, I read the whole thing, and at the beginning, not this one, it didn't mention the whole thing said between her and potential thing or unknown and unknown. But what did he say in that video? He never met her. Okay, so he never met her. This part only pretty much nullify him from this proceeding. Yeah, and this guy is correct. Against Jeffrey Epstein, not other parties. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna stop. I'm already an hour, and I have some other tweets that I bookmark. I'll share. I'll see if I'll include them, but I'm already an hour. Let's do a prayer. Prayer for let's do protection and success. Prayer for victim. Let's do victim. Okay. Prayer for victims. Okay, let's do victim of domestic violence, natural disaster, gun violence victims. Okay, let's say victim of injustice. All right, let's see what pops up here. All right. Keep us, Father, from trying to take matters into our own hands, for vengeance is yours, and you will repay. But, Lord, in your grace and mercy, we pray that you will give justice and peace to all those that have been cruelly and unfairly treated by their fellow man, and may justice and carelessness that they have had to. All right, so let's go to image. Let's do this one. Okay. Embrace in your loving arms all who are grieving the loss of family and loved ones through tragic circumstances where life are in turmoil, hope turns to despair, and pain is all that felt. Be with them in their sorrow, uphold them in your strength, and through the generosity of love shown by others and your presence within their hearts, may they know they are not alone in their struggle through today. This then really hit it, but I'm gonna stop because I'm already an hour and 7 minutes. All right, in my last video I threw a lot of prayers, so anyway, that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate, or if this video at later point in life is monetized and there's commercial, you could just watch the commercials. That's it. Thanks for your support.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness, and please come back.
Find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.